Are you having an amazing day? Like, I don't want you guys having an okay day. I don't want you having a good day. I want to make sure you're having an absolutely amazing day because you know what? When you live your life in alignment, when you are living within your values, when you are moving yourself forward, something amazing happens. Your heart starts to flutter a little more. You want to get up. You want to, like, you're on this call. You're like, oh, I don't know. But you want to keep moving forward, right? You're here because you want to be even more successful. You're already successful. You want to elevate that success. That's why you're here. Okay. So, I have a small of tea. Oh my gosh, I love tea. Okay, I really am hot. Like, I'm not even joking. Normally, I don't get this hot. I don't know what's going on. All right. So, anyway, we're not going to talk about my hot flash. Let's get ready for our next speaker. So, we've heard from casting directors. We've heard from Michael Fomkin revolutionizing the way that we're learning about the entertainment industry. We've talked about our mindset. We've talked about our values. We've talked about all these amazing things. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk to an actor who has been acting again for a very long time. I'm going to introduce you to him. He is going to inspire you in a way that you didn't realize you could be inspired. Are you guys ready to be inspired? And here's the thing too. I told you I want you taking notes because Rex's story is your story. There's something that he's going to say. You're going to be like, whoa, okay, that resonated with me. That's what we do. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight him. Okay. Oh, hold on. I lost you. Spotlight for everyone. Hi, Rex. How are you? Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you. Hold on. It's my first time on Zoom today, Rex. I do apologize. Okay, hold on. Find you. Okay. You guys are amazing. Unmute. There we go. Okay. Allow me to introduce our next guest to you. Okay. And Rex, I'm going to make you a co-host too in case you need to share anything. Okay. But let me introduce Rex to you. After a near fatal skydiving accident led him into a spiral of negativity, Rex Sykes locked him in his apartment for 6 weeks of deep introspection and meditation, uncovering transformational principles that changed his life. Now known as the Mindset Master and the Attitude Doctor, Rex has spent over 4 decades helping thousands of people transform their mindsets, lives, and finances. He is an author, a speaker, an expert in NLP, whole brain learning, the law of attraction, and hypnosis, with innovations like mind design and directed questions. I love that. Founder of Idea Seminars and Rex Sikes Entertainment, he teaches transformation, success mindset, and peak performance through online programs, live events, and corporate training. His book, Your Life on Your Terms, Create the Life You Want, and his Attitude Activator program have inspired countless individuals worldwide. An actor and filmmaker, he also consults for the entertainment industry, offering mindset coaching to performers, directors, and executives. Rex has appeared on television, radio, and media as an expert on mindset, success, and communication, offering insights on topics ranging from body language to affirmations that work. I love that. He has worked with a diverse range of clients, including actors, CEOs, attorneys, sales professionals, doctors, law enforcement, and educators, all seeking to unlock their full potential. Are you guys ready to unlock your full potential today? In 2024, Rex was honored with the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for his contributions to personal development and transformation. Everyone, please give it up for the one and only Mr. Rex Sikes.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Amazing, Rex. Thank you so much for being here today.
Gosh, I am so honored, so privileged, and so pleased to be here. And one of the reasons why is because I get to be here with the people who have assembled, with you, Deneen, and Michael, and Solang, and Paul, and all these incredible speakers. What an amazing event you put on, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. And you said something earlier about me. I was at the dog park. I was listening through my phone, watching it with headphones, the whole thing. You said, Rex is a learner and he's learning while he's here. And that is so true. I am a lifelong learner. And what I'm going to offer you, I hope that you enjoy as much as I do. But that is that we're all incredible learners, and people talk about learning, problems or issues or disabilities, but think of everything you've learned in your life. You learn to roll over, to crawl, to walk, to eat, to feed yourself, to do all the things that you do. You're a success in every way, shape, or form because you're here on the planet to this day. You avoided buses, falling objects, any and every kind of thing that could have harmed you. And you're here. You're here right now together with us. You are a success already. You learn incredible things. And we also learn some silly things and some things that aren't so useful for us that we could do with some unlearning or learning how to be different with it. That's why I'm known as the mindset master and the attitude doctor. But, and today I live the life of my dreams. It wasn't always that way. I do write about it in my book, Life on Your Terms, but it's also your career on your terms. But that does not mean that you're not collaborating and cooperating with other people. So I will talk a little bit and then maybe open it up for questions. I mean, that might be the best way to go. So let me start off by saying this, that um, my parents, not thinking very wisely, decided to put me in dancing class when I was 3 years old and acting class when I was 4, thinking we're going to have this young boy enrich himself and have some culture, never thinking I would want anything to do with show business, but they were so wrong. And so my first performances were at 3 and 4 years old. I did the Nutcracker Suite when I was a little kid who shakes the soldiers and did plays and dances and everything else, and then started making 8 millimeter, super 8 millimeter movies when I was in my early teens, late preteen kind of thing, and then lots of non-union movies, and then eventually I joined the Screen Actors Guild in 74, 75 I think is when I joined. So I've been in the Screen Actors Guild for decades, and I love it, and I love being with actors. I love being with people who are pursuing their career at whatever level, cast, crew, model, writers, singers, song. We have such a beautiful opportunity to inspire people. I have a company. It was called Idea Seminars. It's a corporation for seminars globally, all around the world. And then I have Rex Sikes Productions for, like TV and movie productions. Then I have Rex Sikes Entertainment for learning and all the other stuff. And people go, well, why is it entertainment? And I go, because it's entertaining. We learn more through fun and playing games and being entertained and watching movies and reading books, novels, or fiction. But we just learn so much. So it's all about entertainment, but it's also all about inspiration. It's all about connecting with people. So um, one of the things that I do want to really emphasize, and I thank Deneen for doing what she did, is everything that you do is about state management. You may not have thought of it that way, but it's all about how you bring yourself, how you show up in any given moment, whether it's a personal moment or a professional moment. It's what you bring. So Deneen gave you an exercise. I'm going to give you another one too. But let me say this: Tony Robbins and I started out at about the same time. I went one direction, he went the other direction, and Mark Victor Hansen and some of the people that we've talked about are friends. I'm so blessed. I've grown up around celebrities, and I've worked with celebrities and millionaires and billionaires, famous people and non-famous people. And you know what? I'm going to say this: they all put their pants on one leg at a time. Doesn't matter what they have. Doesn't matter who they are. What matters is, are they a nice person? Can they get along with the people that they work with? Are they fun to be around and somebody that you would want to have back? This is far more important than any talent or any amount of money in the world. And most of the incredible talented people who are on the planet aren't famous. Nobody knows who they are. They're walking around, they can't get hired. So we want to help fix that. That's why Deneen and Michael and Paul and Solang and I and the rest of the people are here to help fix that, because we don't want you to be one of those people who. I was doing one of these things the other day. A beautiful, beautiful woman said to me online. She said, my grandfather always said that the graveyard is the richest place on the planet because that's where all the ideas are buried, with the people who had them that didn't act on them. And I went, oh my goodness, is that not true? So mindset is everything. What stops most people is a thought, a packet of mental energy. Do you know when most people stop pursuing a dream? Before they start. So many people talk themselves out of it. It's like if I say, hey, you want to go out to dinner? You go, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't like that food. I can't do it. They have a thought. They have some reason, some thought, something that goes, no, not going to do it. I'd like to, but I can't. I'd like to, but my car is broken down. Anytime you come up or face an excuse, you have a choice. Do I want to go down that road or do I want to go down a different road? Think of it as standing on a dock, right? You got one foot on the boat and one foot on the dock. You got to, in order to get in the boat, you have to take the foot off the dock, put both feet in the boat, and then go to where you want to go if you want to get there. So you have to align yourself. You have to align your head and your heart with your words and your behaviors so that you're congruent, so that you're aligned, and so that every cell of your being is pursuing what it is that you want to pursue. That doesn't mean you have to work harder, although hard work isn't a bad thing. But there are a lot of people out there who say you have to sweat and sacrifice and 10x things and break boards and do all these things. No, you know what? You can actually do it quite easily and quite fun if you have the right attitude. And that's what I like to bring to the table. I don't want people sitting there going, I risked everything. I don't want you to give up your family for your career. That's silly. That's stupid. Do you know that the number one reason why people get divorced today in this country, in the United States, is over finances? No, I mean, people are arguing over money. Don't put yourself in a position where you lose the people you love and care about because you want to pursue something. Find a way to work with them or together and cooperate. My parents were like, okay, so now when I was, in college, they were like, you go to school for a year and then maybe you can pursue a career. I went for the year. I hated it. I left with a D minus, so I couldn't wait to get out of there and pursue my career. And so I started taking acting classes, professional acting classes. And I've studied with everybody. I've studied the method. I've studied Meisner. I've studied, you name it, I've done it, right? Because it's important to keep learning and keep your instrument sharp. You want to keep doing what you're doing and practice. I do workshops and seminars. I lead them all around the world. There are people now seeing me on Zoom or they come to live events, but I also attend them. I also pay to go to them and learn from other people and pay for coaches and mentors because that is part of the process. I think Michael was saying, every professional athlete knows how important, and entrepreneurs. And the good thing about actors is they get it too. A lot of regular people who are not actors don't get it. Actors will go to workshops and audition shops and cold reading shops and whatever in order to try and perform better or to meet somebody where a lot of people just don't. They just go whatever, and so they blunder around. I was very fortunate to study with a woman named Lillian Chauvin. So she was a TV actress. She was from France. And from 74 to 84, I spent time with her while studying with a lot of other people at the same time and traveling around. And the thing that she taught me was, I'm going to share with you. But it was invaluable. I mean, it was so priceless. And I taught for her at USC, acting for camera for adults and kids, also in a workshop, also directing for camera at USC and in her workshops and things like that for many years. And what she taught me was something that a lot of people didn't think about, and that was your job as a professional actor is to show up, get in the light, know your lines, don't step on the cables, don't trip over anything, do your thing, and then get off the set when they say cut or when you're released and just go away. But you're showing up for a purpose. So to do that, you want to have an on and off switch. You don't want to have to be stuck as a character when they say cut. And there are actors who do. They live the part for months and months, and I'm not here to say that's wrong. I'm just saying you don't have to. If you understand the process, you can get in and out of the process quite easily. So that was part of it. And then, I'm in neurolinguistic programming and whole brain learning and hypnosis and all these things. So all this stuff is combined to share a little bit what I'm going to do. And it's going to seem silly, But I promise you, if you understand not just what we're doing, what Deneen had you do a moment ago, if you understand that, you understand that as a basis, it can unlock so many doors for you personally inside of your own ability to change things for yourself that it'll surprise and delight you, I promise you. So here's the thing. You're all actors or models or somebody who wants to perform. Here's what I want you to do. And I want you to do the method thing. I'm just going to ask you to think of something and then do it. If I said to think of being depressed, sad, how would you sit since you're sitting? What would be the change of your behavior? For most people, they tend to slump. They tend to breathe less deeply, more shallow in their chest. They might sigh. They might go, oh, and they may have a kind of listless talk and tone and all that kind of stuff, right? You understand? Now, if I asked you to be confident, what would you do differently? And so let's see it. Let's look at you. I won't see it. So most people sit back. They put their shoulders back. They might put their chin up. They might look out. They if they're going to speak, they're going to speak with more command of their tone, their voice. I can do it, as opposed to I can do it. I can't do it. Right? Think of all that you've done in order to do that. You go from down here to up here, from down here to up here, right? You're physically changing your being. And in doing so, other people, if they were watching you, if you're walking around like this, you go, well, that person might be depressed. Now, we don't know for sure because we don't know what's going on inside them unless we actually ask them. But we are astute observers pretty much. You say that person looks like they're depressed or they're upset, or that person looks like they're angry, that person looks like they're happy, or that person, rocks the confidence. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine wherever you are at this moment, just take a note and go on a level of, say, 1 to 5. If you were to sit there with like one energy is like a number one, how would you be sitting? One being the lowest. All right. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine that you could double that energy. So from the 1, you double it. So now it's 2 times the energy that you had. What happens? 2 times the energy. Now imagine tripling it, 3 times the amount of the energy. Now let's go 5 times that amount of energy. Sit 5 times that amount of energy. Go, just sit and feel that energy. Because if you can do it in your body and it radiates from you, then a camera can pick that up. And so can the people in the back of the theater. So you go 5 times more energy. Now imagine that. You start at 1, you're now 5. Let's double it again. 10 times more energy. Sit like you have 10 times more energy. If you wanted to get up and walk around and stomp your feet, you could do that too. Now, just shake that off for a second. And I can't see any, I see a very few people. If how was that for you? If it was good for you, put a 10 in the chat. Excellent, excellent. So here's my point. What did you do that was different? You went from 1 time energy to 10 times energy. What did you do? All I said was double it. Double the energy. Yeah. People go, I don't have enough energy. I'm tired. I need my coffee. You know what? You're a walking battery on the planet. Do you know that? Do you realize that your cells actually emit light, that they radiate energy? You can't have not enough energy. You can mismanage your energy. You may be eating poorly, sleeping poorly, not getting enough exercise or fresh air or water or whatever, but you are an energy machine. So it's not that you don't have energy, it's how do you direct your energy? And that's the problem with most people. They go, my life sucks. It's not that their life just sucks, it's that their energy is going to not doing the things that they could be doing to having a brilliant, wonderful, happy, successful life. This is why mindset matters so much. Do you know that attitude, and this is research has borne this out for years, attitude is the number 1 predictor for success in all areas of your life, all areas of your life. We know this from what's called the placebo studies, What's the placebo? It was an ingredient that has nothing to do with anything that it's supposed to. Like, they would give people medicine, and it was at one time sugar pills, and people would say, oh, they would take it, it would make it better. And they said as long as they didn't know it was a fake pill, they would believe that it was helping them. You know what's so amazing? So now is after 40, 50, 60 years of research, they go, even if they know it's a fake pill, if they take it, it can help them. I mean, this is the most amazing thing about our minds. I know that there's nothing in it that will help me, but it helps me. And there's a reason for that, and that's because what you think determines how you feel, and how you feel then determines what you think. So if you think a negative thought, you end up feeling a negative feeling. Then that negative feeling produces another negative thought, which produces another negative feeling, produces another negative thought, another negative feeling. And so you can spiral down. But if you think a positive thought, an optimistic thought, an energized thought, a I can do it thought, then the same thing happens. You feel better. So in order for something to happen for you, you have to think this. If you consider something is impossible for yourself or for the world, not likely to change. So you have to go from what you think is impossible to what could be possible. It has to be plausible. So we're talking about, for example, AI, and stuff. And Michael mentioned about the horse and the car, Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct. Ford is the one who put cars all over this planet, essentially back in the day, right? And he, like Thomas Edison, and it may not have been Thomas Edison who actually invented the light bulb, but Thomas Edison got the light bulb into homes. And Ford got people driving cars. But here's the thing. People who had horses didn't need cars, and the people who had gas lamps didn't need the light bulb. How did they end up that we now have light bulbs and cars all over the place? It was through marketing. They had to market this idea because nobody wanted them. They had to convince people, guess what? You can have a flip of a switch instead of having to fill this gas lamp all the time and light it. You can just flip the switch and there it'll be, and we'll spread wires all over everything. And people say, no, that's not. And here we are. So this AI stuff that's coming down the pike, we don't even know, and guess who's always wrong? Guess who's always wrong whenever there's a new invention or new innovation? The experts. The doctors, the scientists, the lawyers, the educators, oh, no, that's not possible. Given what we know about this, no way in hell is that ever going to happen. And guess what? It happens. And then they go, okay, I was wrong. Sorry. The Wright brothers' own father goes, give up the flying thing. You're bike manufacturers. Come on, the world, everybody, the neighbors thinks you're stupid. You're never going to fly. And if they'd listened to him, guess what? But do you know the interesting thing about the Wright brothers is that they kept failing. They kept failing. They kept failing. They kept failing, meaning that every time they tried something and it didn't work, they had to make an adjustment. They had to decide, well, am I going to quit or am I going to stay in this? And they said, we're in for the long haul. We're in for the long haul. And so they did. And so they would make an adjustment. They tried again and it didn't work. They'd make another adjustment, try it again. And then one day they flew for 11 seconds. 11 seconds. And do you know what? After they flew, they knew how to fly. Prior to flying, they didn't have a clue. They were experimenting. And most of their experiments didn't seem like they were working out, but they stuck with it. And the same thing is true about you and your career. I've been in Hollywood, most of my life. I grew up, like I said, around celebrities. I know a lot of famous people. Hey, and a lot of them are jerks. Don't be a jerk. And a lot of them are really nice. Okay, be a nice one. I sat with people. I've seen people come into Hollywood all the time and they go, I'm going to give it a year. I'll give it 2 years. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back. I'll be this, I'll be that, I'll be that, I'll do this, I got this, I'll be it. And they come in and they try it for a while and it doesn't work out. When I was a young actor, I joined SAG, I was 18 or 19 years old. Nick Nolte had done a show called Rich Man, Poor Man. You know who Nick Nolte is? If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But Nick Nolte starred in Rich Man, Poor Man. It was a breakthrough role. He was 35 playing an 18-year-old. He'd been pursuing his career for well over 15 years. This is why the saying that overnight success in Hollywood is 15 years. Unless you're an 8-year-old child, then it's different. But here's the point. What you just did was you changed your energy, you changed your state, you managed your state. You went from I have no energy to this, or I have no confidence to comedy. This is what you need to do for every audition and for every role, for every person you meet. You might want to pick a different state. You don't always have to be confident, but if you're going to go on audition, you should feel like, hey, I got this. And when you walk in that room, you go, I'm the right person for the part without telling them that, because if you tell them that, you sound like an egotistical. But if you do like what Michael and what Paul and Solang and what Rob been talking about, is you do something different, you make yourself stand out, you are unique, but first and foremost, you have to be nice. You have to be respectful. You have to know that you're going in, whether it's online or into an office, you're going into somebody else's space. So you have to honor that, but you also have to walk in as if you own the space. Have you ever been in a room and someone comes in, you can't hear them, you can't see them, but suddenly there's a huge energy change in the room? And maybe it's negative. You've had that experience. Somebody comes in, they're really angry, they're really mad, and suddenly it's like the wind is sucked out of everybody and they're like that. And you're like, what's going on? You just feel it. You don't know what it is, but you feel it. On the other hand, you're in a room and maybe some star, some celebrity, or somebody with charisma, or somebody really happy and filled with love and joy comes in. And again, you don't see it or hear it, but you can feel this presence. Charisma is having all of this energy and all of this confidence based on your competence, so that it's not fluff, contained. Because if you're like this, that's kind of silly. Nobody's going to go, well, look at that person, they're really charismatic. But if you're confident and you know that you are right for this job, even if you don't get it, doesn't mean that you weren't right for it. It just meant you weren't right for them for it. You have to be the character. You have to be that part. So if you got the opportunity to audition, you go in, this is what I do. I grew up with the Clooney's, George Clooney's family in Los Angeles, Miguel Ferrer and his brother Gabriel. There's 5 kids. Billy Mooney from Lost in Space, Sean Cassidy, and a bunch of these guys. And the story about George was that when they were casting ER, George had done pilot after pilot. He was like the most successful pilot actor ever. And a pilot in those days you got about 40 grand. So he was making good money, but not breaking through. And when the ER role came up, he went and he lobbied because he had the goods. I mean, people knew who he was. So he kind of camped out on the steps of the producers who said, I'm the guy. I am this doctor. Give me the chance. Let me prove it. And ultimately did. And he got the show and became a huge success and then went into the movies. But it wasn't without hardship because he did Batman and was considered the worst Batman ever. So I mean, we all have, well, if you're talented, guess what? You have a lot of crap in your background. If you're successful, you've all done things you're not happy with. Here's what I want you to know. If you love what you're doing, it should exude from you everywhere, in every pore. I don't mean you have to talk about it all the time or share, but it should be in your being, in your DNA, in your fiber, and just love it. I love this business. I love being with you. I could spend months with you guys. I promise you. This is the thing that brings me so much joy. One, sharing my experience in this way, but being with other people who have a love for theater, have a love for film, have a love for TV, have a love for the runway, who like to write. They're creative individuals who want to inspire or motivate or help other people or just make people laugh. Laughter is one of the most transformative things in the world. Stand-up comics, God bless them because they can sit there for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and have someone forget their problems and laugh. Now, what does the person do? They walk out and go, oh, yeah, that's right. I have problems. Huh. Again, the thought, remember, the thought stops them. They go, So I have had one of my favorite movie experiences. I was in a movie, it was a Western that I did a few years back. And the producer called me up and said, hey, do you think you could do this role? I said, yeah, in a heartbeat. And fortunately, he believed me and then gave me the role. And so I was on the set and the set was comprised of a lot of the crew were a lot of other actors and people who'd done extra work. By the way, if I'm not always in Los Angeles, if I were in Los Angeles, I live in LA and I live in the Midwest, family reasons. But if I were in LA full time before AI maybe prevents you from doing this, I would be doing extra work all the time. If I weren't working, and the reason why I say that is because as an actor, think about it. I mean, if you go back and look at most people's credits, go back and look at Nick Nolte, go back and look at any Lady Gaga. I mean, most of them build credits over years, and it starts off with an extra role or a non character named part, in somewhere. Then maybe a line, maybe they're an elevator operator or the person delivering flowers or the waiter or something, and ultimately they get a couple lines, maybe they get a scene, maybe they get Hollywood tends to be, the film business tends to be a meritocracy. In other words, they want to know that if you show up on the set, that you're not gonna miss your light, you're not gonna trip over the cables, you're not gonna forget your lines, you're not gonna disrupt the thing, you're not gonna grumble, you're not gonna complain, you're not gonna be, a horrible person on the set. But also, if you get a scene with a star, that you're not gonna blow it because you're starstruck. They want to know you can handle it. So you kind of graduate from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to be able to handle larger and larger talent. And Hollywood is a small town. The film industry, as big as it is still small. Almost everybody knows everybody in one way, shape, or form or another. So if you start getting heat somewhere, whether it's in Chicago or Atlanta or in Japan, Hollywood, the industry starts to take notice of this. So you start to develop a reputation. You either develop a reputation being someone who's really wonderful to work with, somebody who, when they call in, they're a professional on their auditions, they're professional on the set, or somebody who's difficult to work with, somebody that, they don't care about, mean, nasty. And believe me, I have known both of them. And some of the biggest celebrities are jerks. And you know why they work? Because they can get seats in theater, butts in theater seats, or they can get viewers on TV. And so they hire these people knowing full well it's going to be a nightmare, but they want that person for the part. And so they work. And until somebody else that comes along who's nicer, that can replace them. But if you think about that, your job really as an actor is to sell soap in TV. I mean, that's what you do. You're a soap salesman. You're there to entertain the people in between the commercials. If you understand that, you understand that that's why it's a business. It's show business. You're manufacturing entertaining content. Why? So people can sell it and sell other things. And that's what I loved about branding. I texted my daughter right away, said, "Hey, help me monetize my brand." Because of course you want to do that. You want to monetize your brand. You want to make use of everything that you can. So this movie that I was on, everybody was lovely. It was like the best movie. This was, I think, 2019. It was like right before COVID. And it was the nicest set, the nicest director, the nicest producers, the nicest cast. And I won't say who I was with, but one of the actors and I had somewhat of a falling out. He didn't like something that I said about something political or whatever. So he said, "Okay, we're no longer friends." And now we're working together. Our scenes are all together. And so I said, "Hey," and he goes, "Oh, okay, well, as long as you don't say anything about anything, then I'm cool with that." And I said, "No, don't worry. No." We had a lovely time on the set. It's absolutely beautiful. It was really good. We mutually respected each other's talent. He was a consummate professional, helped everybody, lovely, incredible person. I produced a movie in 2000. Well, I shouldn't say in case somebody's watching this. One of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. Every day I was like, "Oh my God, I got to get out of here." I was 4 months on location and I was like, "Oh God, this is living hell." But what kept me in there was my thought, I'm living the dream. This is what I signed on to do. And sometimes the weather is cold, depending on where you are. And sometimes the weather is warm, depending where. Sometimes it's too hot and sometimes it's too cold. And that's just what it is. And in this situation, the things that were going wrong, just part of the process. And I could have gotten mad, I could have gotten angry, I could have quit, I could have, said this isn't worth it. And everybody has the right to make their own decision. But I'm like, I am actually living the dream. I'm like actually like the Wright brothers, who just everything is failing and failing and failing, and people are going, "You're never gonna fly." And I'm going, I am living the dream. So what I'm saying is, what you experience goes up and down and back and forth, and the only thing that keeps you sane is you. So if you think optimistically and you think that your attitude is right, and you understand your pecking order in the business. So when I'm going to tell you this, I'm a teenage actor in Hollywood with Lillian. Like I said, I simultaneously studied with other people, but she was the person that I revered the most. And she's like, "You and this other guy, who I won't say, are the two biggest a-holes in Hollywood." And we were. I told producers who would say, "Hey, Rex, would you?" I go, "I'll kick you in the ass if you tell me that again." I was not nice. I was a horrible, horrible person. I mean, I was a good guy, but I was horrible to people. Not to the extras or the cast members or things like that, but I felt like, hey, I deserve a break. I'm working my butt off here. Nobody's giving me a chance, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna make it. And the only thing I knew was that I was angry most of the time. And she called me on it. She said, "You're developing a reputation of being an angry actor in Hollywood." Well, and I write about it in the book. I had an incident that caused me some problems, and I ended up ultimately locking myself in my apartment between 6 and 8 weeks and getting my head on straight and going, "You know what? I need to, I lost all my friends. I lost my money. I lost a fiance. I lost everything, my career." And I thought, I need to do something. I need to change myself. And I said, I'm not going to leave this lazy boy recliner until I can do it. I meditated, I visualized, I did affirmations. I mean, I did everything I could. I used hypnosis, everything that I'd known as a kid growing up, to kind of pull myself together. And after about 3 weeks, I had this epiphany, this breakthrough that has led me to, from that point on, be teaching what I teach all around the world. People flying in all around the world to see me, and I've gone around the world to teach. Is attitude and mindset, and the fact that you can take charge of your life and live the life on your terms, but that doesn't mean that you're not letting other people live on their terms. As an actor, I did essentially summer stock, and I was starring. I was Mr. Roberts in the play Mr. Roberts. And I had done the run of that, and they asked me to stick around. And I thought, "Whoa, that's cool." And then they said, "We're going to do arsenic and lace." I said, "Oh, fantastic. Arsenic and lace. That's me. Cary Grant. I'm so cool." They go, "No, no, no. We don't want you to be Cary Grant. We don't want you for that role." I'm like, what do you want? They go, "Well, you just starred in this, so we can't really have you star in the next one. And so we'd like you to be the cop at the end of the play." So if you know arsenic and lace, at the end, there's this cop that comes in. And I thought, I'm not going to spend 6 weeks doing this, and to be the cop and come in at the last. So I didn't do it, but I did stay in the area. And when the play opened, I did go to the play. Now, in those days, in the 70s and 80s in Hollywood, most of us would go to movies and we'd see the roles that we didn't get, or we'd be on TV. We'd see that part we didn't get, somebody else got it. And I'd go, "Oh, I could have done that so much better." Or that guy got that part. I'm better for that part than, I mean, I was always just constantly comparing myself to other people, criticizing them. They weren't good enough. I should have gotten it. Oh God, the world hates me and I hate the world. And I'm good. I go to this play. It gets to the end and I'm dumbfounded. The guy who did the cop part was the cop. He was brilliant. I couldn't have done that. He looked the role, he acted the role, he was the role. It woke me up. I went, "Oh my God, I have been such a jerk." I went back to Hollywood a completely different person. I was like, there are things I can do and things I can't do. Be grateful for what I can do and keep practicing for what I could do. And then hopefully that will happen, and will translate into more and more jobs, more and more work. So I produce and I direct and I teach acting. I've taught acting for many, many years. I teach speaking and different things and training, how to be a trainer and all this good stuff. I taught at the university how to navigate a film career while everybody else was teaching editing and how to use cameras and blocking and lighting. I was teaching how do you connect and make a career happen for yourself as an actor or a filmmaker, whether you're a writer, producer, director, whatever it is. I like doing that. I love you. I love us, you know. So the key is I developed this understanding that was a movie set should be like this. And this is what casting people, what I understood. I, I was so grateful for Paul and Solang and these, you know, talking and stuff, and Deneen and Michael. When I was a young actor in Hollywood, the angry guy, I also thought every casting director hated me. They were there just to make me suffer, you know, give me the bait, but not let me actually have it. You know, and a lot of us felt that way. And so the idea of don't listen to other actors, don't listen to, never let an actor give you notes. You don't know why they're giving you notes. They go, well, you know, it'd be better if you did this. Yeah, well, that's what you think, but I need to do it my way. But don't commiserate with, I mean, we used to sit around complaining about Hollywood, complaining about this and complaining about that. Even now I see it all the time. The people who are outside of Hollywood go, oh, Hollywood's holding us back and they won't let us in. And well, there's a reason for that. Because crews, whether it's Martin Scorsese or Steven Spielberg or an unknown director, they get to know their cinematographers, their editors. They tend to work with the same people over and over again because they trust them. They get to know them. They trust them. They know the workflow. A lot of times what happens is when you hire new people, if they haven't done television, they don't know the turnaround times in TV. They may not know certain things that happen. They don't know, you know, how to behave on set. For example, in Hollywood, traffic is no excuse. If your call time is at 6 and you're not there at 5:30, you're a half hour late already. You know, your job is to be there on time so that you're not holding anyone up. So if you show up at 6, you're late. If you show up at 5 after 6, you're really late. And if you go, well, traffic, they go, okay, goodbye, you're fired. We don't need you. Because you live in Los Angeles. How could you not know that there was traffic? There's traffic 24 hours a day. You have to calculate for that. You have to be a professional. And so you go in, you meet your, you know, the AD or whatever, and you sign your paperwork and you show up, and then you don't be a pest. The reason why a lot of people don't get hired is because they're afraid that the actor is going to be like stalking the stars. So they want to know that that's not going to happen. So, you know, it's to be professional. So the way I think of it, and the way casting director, actually, we've talked about this, said, you know, our ass is on the line, excuse the language, our butt is on the line if you know, I'm going to recommend you to a director or producer. We want you to go and do what you did in the reading that the director liked, because if you do something different, but not what we know, so do what you just did, and then let the director adjust you, whoever she or he may be, right? But you represent yourself, but you also represent us. I mean, that's they don't say that to you, but you have to think, this person is doing me a solid, pushing me into this line. And if I don't do a good job, it reflects on them. And if the director or producer or whoever gets upset with them, you think they're going to want to hire that person or me again? And the answer is no. So here's how you need to think. If you were going camping or fishing or on a overnight somewhere, you know, for say a few days, who would you take with you? Would you take an ornery, angry, disruptive, late person who doesn't do their share, doesn't share the food, doesn't cook, doesn't do anything, just wants to, you know, be there and get all the accolades, or be there and enjoy the pond or whatever it is, but doesn't cooperate, doesn't collaborate? No, you want somebody who's going to be fun and joyful, and somebody who's going to be around you, somebody who does their share, doesn't grumble. Grumbling will get you fired really fast. And actors and crew members love to grumble, and they sit around and go, oh, this director doesn't know what they're doing, or, you know, whatever. Zip. Or as Lillian used to say, fermez la bouche. French, you know. But then throw away the key. So understand that, you know, you have an opportunity to be on a set with somebody. Be nice, be respectful. Don't be a pest. Don't be doting. and understand adding value. I'm going to say this too about the casting process. If you're hired for TV, right, and you have one line or one scene or two sentences or something, understand that it's not about you. I used to think every time I had an audition, this was my chance to shine. This was my moment to be a star. This is my breakout. I won't have to pay rent for the rest of my life. I'll be rolling in money, right? Not about me. It's about passing the information that that character says to the leads in the scene, so that the story continues. It's kind of like, well, they went that way. That's your one line. They went that way. They're going to see you for a second going, and then they're going to cut to the other people, the stars, going, all right, let's go, or to have the conversation. All you're there is to convey some information. But if you do that really, really, really well without overacting or any of that kind of stuff, or taking up an inordinate amount of time, or if you just do your job and they liked it, you'll get hired again. I mean, that's how it works. Because they go, we gave that person a line, they did well, they've been on this set, we like them, they're friendly, they're nice, they're respectful. Let's bring them back for something else. Let's give them a scene. And so you gradually work your way up. So with that, I mean, I don't know, has it been useful at all? If it is, I guess put 10 somewhere, if that would be great. But if you want to open it up to questions, I said I could be the co-host, but I don't know if somebody wants to open that up and somebody has a question, I'm happy to answer any questions in the remaining time that we have.
Hi, I can totally be your co-host for the moment. How does that sound?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Oh my God, you're dropping value bombs today, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Lalini has a question, so let's do this. We're going to add
Yes.
And unmute. Okay.
I may not know the answer, but I'll fake it. I'm kidding. Hi.
Oh my God, is it working? Okay.
It is.
Hi.
Hi.
It's okay if you fake it. I'll take your answer. So, Lalini here. Nice to meet you. I'm a quantum healing expert. Your story is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing with us and being here. My question is, you're blending a lot of what you're doing in the entertainment industry, and where and when did you decide to apply that transition to where you are right now?
Back in when I was in that chair that I write about, it's like chapter 1 of the book, somewhere in there. What happened was I had been doing a movie and I went skydiving and I had a back injury and I got misprescribed medicine nearly. And so I was very scary for people. I wasn't the angry guy or bad or anything. I didn't hurt anybody, but I had no clue what was going on in my life. And I tried to kill myself. So when I came out through that, and I went cold turkey on the drugs that they had given me, I was like, I got to get my life back in order because this is too painful. So when I discovered for myself, because I was sort of going, why did this happen to me? How could this be? Like if there's a God, why did I have to go through this? And how long is it going to take before I can get, just out and face my friends who I'd lost face to? I mean, I got notes they don't do this too often, but I got a postcard from a very big producer saying, thank you for coming in on this audition. Now I'm high on these drugs. I don't know what's going on. I asked my sister, I said, what is this about? She said, oh yeah, you were going on auditions. I'm like, I was going on audition?
Somebody was.
This is not a good thing, right? Showing up in an audition like complete, like a lunatic. So I mean,
Right.
I don't have any, I don't have any memory of it. I have amnesia for that. But the point is, when I realized that about 3 weeks into it, I went, I don't want to know this stuff. I don't care what the problem was or why the problem happened. I want to know how soon I can get out of here, how quickly I can feel confident, what I need to do in order to win my life back and get back on track. And I changed the focus from what was wrong to what I could do that was right. And I sat in that chair but another 3 weeks. And when I was done, I came out, I kind of emerged like a toddler, not necessarily like Superman, but I came out, go kind of test the waters. Working. So, as I was doing what I had rehearsed kind of in my head in this room, and it started to work, I started to realize confidence that I didn't have. So with competence comes confidence. A lot of people, if you're going to say I can do anything, like I can fly without, an aircraft, then start at the curb and try and fly up. Don't go to the top of a building and try and fly across. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
Yes.
so yeah, so I started at the ground and tried to fly up. And what I learned is that I was kept doing it. I got more and more confident, and then I realized, this is so valuable. I want to share this with other people. So I had been teaching acting. I started to put it into workshops. I also, because I've been a meditator and did all these things, I started to blend this, and I put it into acting workshops, and I started putting acting into meditation workshops. I started putting hypnosis into acting and meditation workshops. I started, so it just kind of blended, and I developed a program called Mind Design. I now have a program called Create Your Best Life using the genius of Tesla and Einstein. It's how do you think, how do you feel, how do you release, how do you let go of things, and, and powerful for actors, but it's powerful for anyone, anywhere, every day, because when we're not on set, and this is something I didn't know when in Hollywood, when I was a young actor in my teens. And by the way, I did tons of non-union stuff. I became a SAG actor and almost never worked. I mean, it's a lot different when you become a union actor. This is why I say do extra work. I dated an actor. She worked every day. She was on a TV series. She worked every day. An actor might get a guest star or co-star once in a while, or a starring role, or a white line here. So a good actor might get, 3 or 4 parts a year. An extra could work 30 weeks out of a year, depending on what they're doing. So
Right.
and if you love the industry, then you're around people, because it's all about connecting.
Mhm.
So doing the workshops and stuff, one thing led to another. I started to connect, and I go back and am I answering your question at all?
Absolutely. You have no idea how much this is in alignment with what I'm doing. Like, I can't even thank VIP enough for all of the speakers that they bring and just showing up, because my God, like it shaped me so much. You have no idea how close your story is to mine. So thank you so much for that.
Well,
I
we can talk
appreciate it.
more later, but yeah,
Yes.
that's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Thank you. Absolutely. And yeah, I love what the VIP Ignite is doing. I think it's just an amazing event, and the Deneen and Michael and the other people who are involved have been such a blessing. This is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Alini. All right. So let's go to Kingston. Hello, Kingston.
Hi, Kingston. How are you, sir?
I'm doing amazing. What about you? Feeling good?
Amazing too.
For sure. So, in your experience, how do you view actors and talent taking the initiative to pitch their own deck? Um, are there specific qualities that you look for when dealing with talent or an actor who has a specific idea, who's approaching you not just as a performer, but as a creative producer?
That's a great question, and there's oh god, there's so much behind that. So if you have a project that you're trying to pitch to someone, or you're trying to raise money, the best thing to do is take a business class. Everybody takes acting classes and screenwriting classes and cinematography classes, things like that. But learn the business, learn what investors want, because investors may not want what you and I think they want. I got this best project. Some people even go so far as to go, look, I won't even take a salary. I just want to get this made. Well, a savvy investor is going to go, you're not taking a salary? Why would you do that? I mean, it's not, that's like shooting yourself in the foot. Say, you don't have to pay me. Let's just get it done. Because they're wanting their money back. And if you don't care enough about money to go, I want money too, then they're likely to go, this person's not real. So I would say, do as professional a pitch deck that you can do. And then also try and connect with people who can get in the rooms to pitch. Like, I can't get into a room and pitch. I mean, if I said, hey, I got this idea, I want to go to Fox, I want to go to Universal, I want to go to Paramount, I want to go to Apple, they may go, who are you? But if I have a friend who's got the clout, who pitches constantly, producers who pitch all that, I go, would you pitch with me? Could we get it, that kind of thing? Then you have a better chance of getting into the room. Yeah, and then there are all sorts of things about, that, like pecking order, power. Do you sit facing the window? I would sit, hopefully their back is to the window, but if they're there before you, you can't arrange that. If they're coming in, like when I was doing a movie back in the 70s, people would come to see us. we just used our attorney's offices, you know, so we could sit where we wanted to sit, and then they had to come in and sit. And again, I was this stupid guy who was firing directors going, "No, I don't like your credits." I learned a lot, believe me. So
Sure.
again, I don't, am I getting anywhere near what you were asking?
Absolutely, because even as we make our introductory into the industry, it's important to know every side of the business. You know, as an inspiring entrepreneur who has a business, who's coming into the industry, it's nice to have insight. You know, even with someone like you who wears several different hats, we need that feedback. Thank
I
you.
want to thank you. I appreciate that. I want to, and I do want to answer the next question, but I want to say this, and I want to say it really quickly. Um, Someone I know got a very big meeting with a very big producer over a screenplay that was co-written. And the producer read the thing and said, "Let's do lunch." And then while they were at lunch, said, "You know, I think it'd be better if it was this way, if you would rewrite that." So, "Oh, thank you very much." Or, you know, you could just say, "Okay, thank you very much." And then they left, you know, the meeting and everything. So I asked, I said, "Did you do what the producer asked you to do?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, what? Why not? He gave you notes." "Well, I didn't write it, you know, alone. It wasn't my project." I said, "Well, it doesn't matter. You could have asked the person if you could rewrite it, or you could have rewrote it just on alone and then said, 'Well, you know, it's not my project. I have to clear it with this person, but here's the sample.'" I said, "What you did was you did what 99.9% of the people do in Hollywood. They take the person's advice, say, 'Thank you very much,' walk away, don't do a thing with it." I said, "What you should have done is rewrote the thing, call the person up. So would you like to see it?" Then they could say, "No, I don't have the time. I gave you the notes." Or they could say, "Yes, let me see it." They could go, "This is the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen. You didn't do anything, right?" Or they could go, "You know, we could rework this." Or, but what they do know is that you listen to them, you respected them enough to take what they said and apply it to your life. So they know you're an action person, not just like all the other people who go, "Tell me, tell me, tell me," and then do nothing with it. So the more that you can connect with those kinds of, and you can, you know, there are more people today because of things like VIP Ignite, where you can connect with the people who can get you the audience of where you need to be, or the agent, or the, you know, I mean, this is the cool part about this. But then if they give you a note, do it, come back, go, it's like a director giving you a note in audition. You go, if you go, "Did I do it right?" They're going to go, just do it, have the confidence to do it, and let them adjust you. Close? Okay.
Nail on the head.
All right. So I see Jamie. I want to be able to do it before we run out of time here. But thank you, Kingston. Kingston. That's wonderful. God, I love you guys. This is wonderful. Anybody else? Nothing else? Jamie.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask you, sir, what is it that you are the most proud about your choices for becoming your status?
What am I most proudest of? My becoming,
For your status, your role.
for my. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
For your role as
For my for my role. You mean which role do I like the best?
your title that you are.
Oh, mindset master and attitude doctor. That title.
For being an actor and stuff. What are you most proud about that?
Oh, well, you know, as a young guy, I used to play killers, drug addicts, rapists, you know, things like that a lot, or the guy next door who never got the girl. Now I play
Yes, sir.
alcoholics and granddads and fathers and priests. So, you know, I had a guy come up to me on one set and said, and what's different today about video that wasn't true years and years ago when they used viewfinders and they used film and they shot, and the director would go to the cinematographer, is that good? They go, "Yeah," and they go look at the dailies and then decide. Now Video Village, they tend to compose the shot while you're standing on the set. So they'll say, action, and you go, and they go, cut. You go, what? And they go, you know, and you go, action. You go, and they go, cut. So I was doing this thing, and this guy said to me, he said, and he was a well-known character actor. He said, I don't know how you do that. How do you do that?" I said, do what? He goes, they constantly interrupted you. I said, oh, I love thinking on my feet. That's what I thrive. It's live. It's like, this is live. It's extemporaneous. It's like, it's in the moment. We're going, and in that moment I'm creating. And so if somebody stops me, it doesn't throw me. I actually like the interruptions because it's a challenge. And that's why I actually like movie making more than I like theater, which is odd because a lot of people go, I like the audience, I love this. I like movie making because it is done in increments and you have to keep the character consistent from start to finish of your movie. And you do multiple takes. I've done stuff where you had to do like 30, 40 takes and you've got to look just as crisp on the last one as you did on the first one. That kind of, I love that. That is the juice. It's like, it's like I have to pull all of my resources together for that moment, and that just brings me a lot of joy. So I'm proud that I can do that, that I have the opportunity. I'm very pleased and happy when I get the opportunity to do that with anybody who will hire me. So, oh, and by the way, that's the pitch. If you're producing or casting a movie, no.
May I ask you one more question, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. What has been the most challenging for you?
Well, when I was younger, and it's still true today, I'd rather be pulling my hair out than twiddling my thumbs.
I hear that.
Yeah, so and you got more hair than I do, so but when I was a young actor, I hated weekends and I hated Hollywood holidays because I go, there's nothing being done on weekends. And when we went into summer hiatus, I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. And so I would just get really frustrated and more angry. And what somebody finally said to me is, you're supposed to be living life. I go, oh, screw life. I'm an actor. Right? I mean, my passion, my art, my, whatever. No. Have a life, enjoy life, and learn to live it. As I said before, you get both feet. When I was a kid, I'd lie in the back seat of the car going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Whenever my parents were taking us anywhere, because I hated the journey. The journey's all we have. Okay. So I get to journey sometimes as an actor, sometimes as a coach or a mentor or a trainer or, whatever. I'm a dad, I'm a dog owner. I shouldn't say dog owner, they own me. So, and I love it. So it's about life. It's about having a wonderful life and getting to do what you want to do. And it took me a long time to figure that out. I started figuring it out around the time I was 25. I probably figured it out by the time I was 37, 38, where I'm like, it's really more about life than it is about anything else. And the relationships that you have and the love that you have and the family and the friends that you have. If I never act another day in my life, I will be disappointed, but not as disappointed if I don't see my girl dogs or my family or my friends or things like that. Same thing with money. Money comes and goes. I've been broke, I've been rich, I've been, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's the people that we are around and the people who, and to be able to do that is beautiful. So to be able to talk with you, and I'm not saying this, but to be able to be here and be able to talk with you and the other people I'm talking to and the people that I got to talk to but not interact with, that's gold. It's a wonderful thing. So, the legacy that I want to leave is that I lived a life that was a well-lived life, and I helped as many people as I could help all around the world. And if I make money doing it, fantastic. And if I don't, fantastic.
Awesome. Rex, Jamie, first of all, thank you. That was such a great question. I love that so much.
It was, Jamie. Thank you.
That was great. And Rex, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for your time. It's like listening to you speak, it was like gold nugget after gold nugget after gold nugget after gold nugget. And I just want you to know that we truly appreciate having you here. And it was just amazing. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. Well, and I'm going to stick around and I'm going to be learning like all of the rest of us that are here today. I'm participating as well as speaking. So thank you. And thank you for this and for everyone. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome was it hearing from Rex? Like, did you guys pick up about 1 billion gold nuggets like I did? I don't know. Like, I feel like Mike and I were talking in not the break, but when I had a couple minutes off camera, and we were just talking about like how like all of the information and all of the transformation that we're even as like I'm looking through your faces, like seeing like all of a sudden you see the light go. It's almost like, in cartoons when you see like the light bulb go on over top of the person's head. Like I see that in your eyes today. And this has been so amazing.